Hey sis, hey, you are tuned into 101 TKO Radio, and this is the She Wins Radio Show with your favorite coach Andromeda, coming to you live every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Happy New Year, y'all! How y'all doing? We made it to another year, y'all. 2023 is over. If you thought it was a tough year for you, I hope that you stepped into 2024 feeling excited, feeling optimistic, feeling ready to win bigger than you ever have before. To everybody who is listening to the sound of my voice right now, I want you to know that this is your year, okay? Don't doubt it for one single second. I don't care what losses you experienced last year. I don't care what failures you experienced last year. I don't care what relationships ended last year. This is your year, okay? So step into it, walk into it like you know this is your year. You are that girl. This is your time, okay? I'm so excited. If y'all cannot tell about 2024, about this new year, I just believe that New Year's are such an opportunity to have a fresh start, right? New Year's are just such an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to implement the lessons that you've learned from the past, to really just walk in your power and authority and be open and available for all of the goodness and the blessings that God has for you this year. And so I have dedicated going forward every Tuesday from now into eternity. It's Big Talk Tuesday, okay? It is Big Talk Tuesday here on She Wins Society, because all 2024 and beyond, we are talking big and we are making boss moves, okay? We are not playing around anymore. We're not dimming our lights. We are not pretending like we're not that girl. We are not making small talk. We are not wasting our time. We are going to be intentional. We are going to make progress. We are going to be productive. We are going to shine bright unapologetically. That is how we are moving in 2024 and beyond. So this is Big Talk Tuesday. We are not talking small, okay? Everything that we are going to be talking about every show from here throughout is going to be big talk. It's going to encourage you. It's going to inspire you. It's going to empower you. It is going to educate you. It is going to give you something, some fuel to move you forward. Can y'all tell that I am hyped? I am ignited for this year, y'all. We are not playing around. So let's talk about this real quick, because there is power in our words. We have to understand that. Today's topic is manifesting the life you want. And the fact of the matter is that manifestation is not just like some magical thing that happens. It's really about your mindset and your mouth, right? The thoughts that you are thinking and the words that you are speaking are going to ultimately help you to manifest the life that you want. You first have to believe that it's possible for you, and then you have to speak it into reality. So today's special guest, Megan Thomas Williams, she is the head of production at All Def, the All Def. Y'all know All Def, okay? She is the head of production at All Def. She's coming to the station today, and she's going to talk about manifesting the life you want, plus so much more. I met Megan. Y'all know I'm big on connections, right, and collaborations. My word for last year was connection, and I made so many amazing connections last year because I was very intentional about doing so. But our guest, Megan Thomas Williams, I met her at an event, a birthday dinner for one of my very close friends and a past special guest here of the show, Shonda Brown White. And shout out to Shonda for inviting me to this birthday dinner. And shout out to Shonda for being so amazing that she attracts amazing women, because I was able to sit at this table and to connect with and have conversation with women who just vibrate on a higher level. So they vibrate on higher energy. And that's the space we want to be in, right? And so I was talking to Megan just about her life, and she was sharing some of her story with me about how she met her husband, started a family, and how she had this dream of living working bi-coastal rather. She wanted to work in LA. She wanted to live on the East Coast. And guess what? Sis is doing that. She is living that life. And I'm so happy for her. So we're going to talk to her today about how she manifested the life that she wanted, because I believe that success leaves clues, right? If we listen to successful people, if we listen to people who are living the lives that they want to live, we will find clues that will help us to do what we need to do to create the lives that we want to live as well. All right? So before we get into that, y'all know how we do. We're going to keep this flow going of our National Day calendar, because I just think that it's always something fun for us to talk about. So today's national celebrations are, today is National Cream Puff Day. If y'all didn't know, I'm not a fan of cream puffs, but if you are, go ahead and get you a cream puff and enjoy your dessert unapologetically. Today's also National Buffet Day. Now, what are they trying to do to us? Because cream puffs and buffets, like most of us step into the new year, like we're gonna start eating healthier. We're gonna go to the gym. Why are they trying to make us eat cream puffs and go to the buffet? Sis, if you have a goal like myself to be healthier this year, to focus, prioritize your wellness, to make sure that you're consuming only things that are good for your body. Okay, don't have the cream puffs. Don't let me tempt you. Okay, don't go to the buffet because the next celebration is National Personal Trainer Awareness Day. How about that? So they say, okay, have your cream puff, go to the buffet, but then also make sure that you get a personal trainer. Fun fact about me, I actually signed up to get my personal trainer certification a couple of years ago. Life happened and I didn't complete it, but that is one thing on my list that I definitely plan on completing. And I want to encourage us all today, if there's something that you started that you never finished, let 2024 be this year that you finish what you started, okay? So if you know that you want to be more well, but you don't exactly know how to do it, right? You've been hitting the gym in the past and not really seeing results, maybe, just maybe, you need to get some extra help from a personal trainer. So, and then also today is National Science Fiction Day, y'all. So if you are a sci-fi person like my father who names me Andromeda, then today is your day. All right. So I definitely wanted to share those with you all. And then also I want to talk about manifestation because some of our favorite celebrities said that they predicted their futures through manifesting, y'all. Like, again, this is a real thing. Actually, I think that the Bible gives us so many scriptures that remind us of how real manifestation is. Write the vision and make it plain, right? We are told to write the vision and make it plain. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? So we are told, like, we have been given divine wisdom that our visions can become manifested by writing them down and making them plain. We have been told that we can bring things into existence by speaking them into existence. So y'all, we can do this, okay? Like, we have the power within us. We don't have to wait for somebody else to give us permission. We don't have to wait for somebody to support us. We don't have to wait for somebody to believe in us. Within us is the power to manifest the lives that we want, but we first must believe that it is possible. And so I wanted to share with you some stories about some of our sisters who, you know, they manifested the life that they want. Oprah Winfrey is one of those people. Y'all know Big Oprah, right? Oprah is a vocal advocate of visualization boards, referring to them as an act of preparation for getting what you want. Oprah is all about manifesting your dreams. Now, here's the thing when it comes to, listening to people, getting advice. I believe in paying attention to the receipts, right? So we can all see from Oprah's life, like Oprah is living a magnificent life, right? She is doing what she loves. She's getting paid well to do what she loves. She's providing platforms for other people to share their stories. She is, living very well. She's just doing lots of things. We know that she just recently produced The Color Purple, the musical. Like, Oprah is doing her thing. So we definitely can say, we can look at her receipts and say, the advice that she gives us is probably legitimate, right? So she says, the way you think creates reality for yourself. She has spoken on multiple occasions on manifesting her role in Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple through repeatedly visualizing herself as an actress and in the role itself. I'm going to say that again. She manifested her role in Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple through repeatedly visualizing herself as an actress before she was an actress and in the role itself. So if you want to, I don't know, become an actress, a radio personality, if you want to become a best-selling author, if you want to be in the Olympics, I don't know, whatever specific goal that you have for yourself, visualize yourself being there repeatedly. I think that the biggest challenge that most of us have is not that we don't dream about certain things, but when they don't happen fast enough, we give up on them, right? We stop believing that it can happen. And so today I want to encourage us to keep believing that what you want is possible for you. Keep visualizing yourself in that space. Keep visualizing yourself in that role, whether it's a wife, whether it's a mom, whether it is a CEO, whether it is a millionaire. Visualize yourself in that, okay? Visualize yourself walking in that existence, in that reality, and then it will come to you. It may not be tomorrow, and it may not be next week, and it may not be next month. But sis, it's possible. Never stop believing. Never stop dreaming. Never stop visualizing. Okay. Someone else who has used manifestation to bring the life that she wants into existence is Lady Gaga. We know Lady Gaga. Before she became famous, Lady Gaga used her iron will to mentally tell herself it was going to happen. In an interview back in 2011, once her star was rising, she shared how she repeated the affirmation to herself over and over that she was famous. Y'all, affirmations work. As a life coach, that is one of the many tools that I provide to my clients to keep them encouraged and to help them manifest the life that they want. Affirmations are real. Again, life and death is in the power of the tongue. You must make sure that every single day of your life you are taking time to say words that affirm what you want to see happen in your life. You want to make sure that you're taking time to visualize yourself where you want and speak words that align with that on a daily basis. She said you repeat it to yourself every day, and it's not yet, it's a lie. You're saying a lie over and over again, and then one day the lie is true. Ooh, I like how she explained that, because it does sound like a lie to us at first, right? Like, I am a millionaire. You can say that a million times and be like, well, but that's not true currently, but it will be. It will be true. And one thing that I say as a life coach is that where your mind goes, your body follows, right? So again, manifestation is not like some magical thing. If you keep telling yourself, I am a millionaire, I am a millionaire, I am a millionaire. If you wake up in the morning and say, I am a millionaire, if you go to sleep saying, I am a millionaire, throughout the day, as you're spending money at the grocery store, as you are taking trips, you're saying, I am a millionaire. Guess what's going to happen? You are going to move in a way that is going to make you a millionaire. You're going to be more conscious of your financial decisions. You're going to make investments and take risks that are going to lead you to becoming a millionaire. You're going to put yourself in spaces around people that are going to lead you to your millions. That is what's going to happen. So again, say it, speak it, own it, even if it sounds like a lie at the moment. Okay. Who else do I want to mention? Because I think there was somebody else on my list and I do not want to skip them. Let me go back. Okay, Megan. Y'all know, we know Megan. We know Megan, Megan Thee Stallion. So Megan tweeted in 2004, I need a team because I promise this rap-ish gonna take off for me. The year is 2022 and she is a huge success. Pam Dorsey said, yes, I am that girl. I love your energy, sis. Come on with it. I'm coming, sis. Let's go. I love your energy too, sis. All right. So did y'all hear that? Megan, in 2014, Megan said, I need a team because I promise this rap-ish gonna take off for me. The year is 2022. She is now a huge success. Y'all listen, how many of us are afraid to put out there on Front Street what we desire for our lives? How many of us would not dare tweet, this is going to work out for me. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to achieve this goal. How many of us would not dare do that because we are afraid of putting it out there because we don't want to be embarrassed should we fail, should we not make it a reality? That is where we lose. That is where we mess up. It is so very, very, very important that we are willing to put it out there. Write the vision and make it plain. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. We have seen this multiple times. I believe I read a story about Carisha. Y'all know City Girl Carisha. She said that she manifested the life that she wants by just posting certain different photos on social media and putting certain things in her profile photo, right? So that's how she brought the life that she wanted into her reality, right? I saw a post by Tabitha Brown not too long ago where she shared some years ago about what she expected her life to look like or what she wanted her life to look like. And she is now currently living in that vision. She wrote the vision, made it plain, and now she is living in it. Y'all listen, I know that life can get discouraging. And I know that you can have moments where you fail and that causes you to doubt the possibility, right? I know what it's like to get in a space of like, what's realistic for me based on my current circumstances. I know what that's like. However, sis, listen, it's a fresh new year. Like shake it off. Shake off these previous failures, these previous disappointments, and step into this new year with just openness, an open mind, an open heart, and with great expectations that greater is possible for you. I need you to do this with me, okay? Because 2024 is our year. We are coming for everything they said we can't have and everything we thought we could not have. Mark my words right now, on January 2nd, 2024, this year is going to be amazing. It's going to be mind blowing for Coach Andromeda. She wins society, and every single person who is attached to me and She Wins Society. You heard? Period. Okay. So with that, Nelson, I think my special guest is here. My special guest is here. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick. Can we take a quick break? We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and bring our special guest in here for this conversation about manifesting the life that you want. Stay locked in. Oh, before I go, while we are on break, I need you. If you are feeling this energy, if you are feeling this Big Talk Tuesday conversation, if you are feeling inspired and encouraged, go ahead and share this with somebody right now. Bring somebody else on the air to listen to today's show. Sharing is caring, okay? Sow a seed into somebody else by just freely sharing with them the link to watch or listen to this broadcast, okay? Because again, collaboration is greater than competition. And when women support women, we all win. So stay locked in right here. You are listening to the She Wins Radio Show on 101 TKO Radio.
Mm.
Hey sis, hey, hey sis, hey, we are back. You are tuned into She Wins Radio Show on 101 TKO Radio. And if you're just now tuning in with us, this is Coach Andromeda on the air. Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. And if you are watching live on YouTube or Facebook, then you can see that our special guest is in the building.
Hi. Hello. That was just amazing. Thank you.
No problem, y'all. Megan Thomas Williams is in the building.
Hi. How y'all doing?
So if you follow She Wins Society on social media, if you are subscribed to our email list, you already know a little bit about Megan. But Megan, for those who don't know about you, can you give us a brief introduction?
Brief introduction. Well, it all started on a Thursday night on April 26th. Okay, I'm not gonna go that far. But yeah, I am just a little country Korean black girl from Kentucky. I actually currently do a few different things. One of them being the head of production for a company called All Deaf. It's a comedic YouTube channel. So check it out if you have a moment. I'm also talent on that channel, and I have a couple of podcasts as well.
Awesome.
So that's just a little something. But I've been in this industry probably, oh gosh, I don't want to date myself here, but like 15 years, honestly. Wow. I've been in entertainment. I actually started off in radio here in Atlanta at V103 as an intern, and then I moved to syndicated radio with Michael Baisden in like 2008. Wow. I was there for about 4 years as a head producer for a show, and then I moved out west to LA, to Los Angeles, and was there for almost 7 years and did everything from like red carpet interviews to recap after shows to, at one point I was making, protein shakes for Quest Nutrition. Like I was doing everything. And I was hustling, I was acting, everything, the whole LA life. And then, I settled into hosting an on-air personality. So that's kind of how I fell into things.
That's
very long story career. A lot of stories in there if you want to hear them.
Well, I mean, it sounds like a really good time. A really good time. You said that you are also a personality on one of the shows. Tell us about that.
I do a lot of the stuff that I do on All Deaf is just me being myself. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm like a union actress, I'm in SAG, so like I should be acting, but like I have more fun just being myself than playing somebody else. So I do a lot of just hosting on-air personality stuff. So I get to be me. I get to host things like I'm on 2 podcasts, or actually 3 podcasts right now. I forgot about the 3rd one. Lord have mercy. But I have a podcast called Mommy Needs a Break with me and another mom, and we just talk about like the truth about being a mom, because I feel like nobody was honest with us. So we would have days like, I don't want to be around my kids, but like you don't want to say that, but then you realize every mom has days and moments like that. So it's a really refreshing, chance for us to speak about that. And then I'm also on another podcast. It's a Black mental health podcast called Amani's State of Mind, and so I'm with Dr. Imani Walker. We're talking about all things mental health, but it's like fun. It ain't like serious, like, we talk about real serious topics, but we have a lot of fun on there because I don't know how to not like make a joke about stuff. So that's really fun. And then I also am on a comedic podcast on All Deaf called Squadcast, where we really just do a like this or that comparison on every episode. So I'm myself, but in different versions. I get to be like my comedic self on one podcast. I get to be my mommy self on another podcast. I get to be my regular like psychiatrist, inquisitive mind self on another podcast.
Yes.
That's cool.
It is cool. Yeah. And I think most people would agree that their goal in life is to do what they love while being who they are.
Yeah.
And get paid well to do it.
Yeah.
So you're doing that.
I am.
So congratulations.
Thank you. It was a journey. I remember I was in an acting class, and my acting teacher, she was like, "Who are you?" And I looked at her and I was like, "I don't know." And I cried in that class because I was like, I don't know who I am. But in order to do this work, you really do need to know who you are, and you have to be authentic about it, because if you're not, it comes off, and people can tell, and they don't want to listen to you anymore.
Right.
It's not authentic. So yeah, you got to know yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So gym number 1 is you got to know yourself. Like, you got to know yourself, and then you have to be confident in being your authentic self because it matters.
It does, yeah.
Y'all listen. You podcast hosts, aspiring podcast hosts, influencers, whatever you are doing in life, actresses, aspiring actresses, this is giving y'all the tea. She's dropping a gem. Pick them up. I hope y'all picking up what she's dropping.
Thank you.
Okay, so Megan, today's topic is manifesting life you want, which is specially curated for you because of the conversation that you and I had at our good friend Shonda's birthday.
Yes. I felt like I knew you for years already. Remember when I was like, I've met you before. And you were like, no, you haven't. I was like, yes, I have, girl. And then I realized I did not meet you before. I was like, why did you feel like we know each other?
You know what? Our past guest, she and I said that, we felt like we knew each other for knowing each other. And she said that it's because we knew each other in the spirit. And I just received that. So we knew each other in the spirit.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay. So can you give us some tips for manifesting the career that you want? Because I remember you sharing with me that was a goal of yours to like work on the West Coast, live on the East Coast. Yeah. You're living your bi-coastal dream life.
I am because I do go back to Los Angeles once a month for work for a few days, and it's been that I've always said I wanted to do that. When I lived in Atlanta, like back in 2005, I was here from 2005 to 2008. And I loved it. I loved, I came from Kentucky. I loved Atlanta. I loved everything it had to offer. And then I started moving. I went to Dallas and I moved to LA. And I just remember, I was like, I'm going to keep my Atlanta area code number because I'm going to come back here. I don't know when, but I'm going to come back here. I'm going to raise my family here. And it was 11 years later that dream came true. And it was just something in my heart. But honestly, I feel like God put it in my heart because, that's, now that I live here, I'm married, I have kids, like it just works so well for us to be in the city. So, I feel like you kind of always know and you got to listen to that small voice on the inside because I feel like that's God telling you something. And when you listen to it and you work towards it, then everything just kind of falls into place. You know what I mean? Like I never knew. I always thought I had an annoying voice, which I probably still do, but I'm on a lot of podcasts, right? So that's not anything but God orchestrating that because let's be honest, I be listening to myself, I'll be like, ugh.
Really?
Like, yes, girl, because it's just, and I'm like extra nasally today, so like it's just too much. But like if God ordaining it's gonna happen, and so I remember, when I was an intern here back in like 05 or 07, and I was working at the radio station, and I was like, oh, I want to be a radio so bad, like. I don't know how this is going to happen. And then at the end of my internship, they were like, yeah, we ain't got no opening. Sorry. So then that moved me into like, what am I going to do next? I had a day job as a financial planner, but I was like, a financial advisor, but I was like, I don't want to do this. Like that's not where my heart is. And I remember praying like, God, please let me like this work. Because I'm here, I should like it, right? But God was like, no, like you can be somewhere else. And so when you're uncomfortable in your place, you have to listen to that because usually that's God said you got to move. Some got to move, some got to shift. That's why it's not working out. And if it's too comfortable, you just going to sit there, right? For the rest of your life. You're not going to move. So I was always uncomfortable at that financial job because I wasn't supposed to be there for too long. I had things I needed to get from there, which helped me out later in life, but I didn't know at the time. And so from there, I remember going to, after the internship, I was like, well, what am I going to do? I saw that there was a opening in like a TV internship. So I was like, let me try that, and I got it. And it was crazy because like the hours were absurd. I had to like wake up at 3 a.m., get there at 4, work there until like 9 a.m., go into my actual job, work there until 6 p.m. Like it was always really crazy, but like it all worked out. And I just kept listening to this little voice that was just like, okay, keep going, try it and see, just keep going. Because what I don't want to happen is at the end of my life, I look back and there's something that I didn't do. Right. So at least let me just try it and see. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, I can always go back to what I know. Right. Yeah. I say that a lot about where people live and about what they're working on. If it doesn't work out, home ain't going nowhere, right? Wherever you from, it's going to be there. So go back there, but at least go out and venture and see what happens.
I love that.
And same with, we all have employable skills. And so leave your job but leave it on good terms if you can. And if for some reason, whatever you decide to do, you can't do anymore, then you must go back.
Mm-hmm.
So take that step of faith. Get out there, do your thing.
I love it, Megan. I love it. I love it. So I know that somebody is listening right now and they're saying to themselves, but that sounds scary as heck.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's not easy.
I am terrified to do the things that you are telling me to do. What advice do you have for them?
Keep doing it terrified. I moved from, so after I left my internship in Atlanta, I found the radio show with Michael Basin in Dallas. I knew nobody in Dallas. I'd never been to Texas. I was asking friends, and I'm in the sorority Delta Sigma Theta. I was asking my sorors, do y'all know anybody in Dallas? And oddly enough, everyone was like, no, I don't have. Anybody got a cousin? Like somebody.
Right.
So I don't feel so alone. I literally moved to the state. And I remember my dad helped me move. He dropped my stuff off and he left and I cried. And I was like, I don't know anybody. I don't even have nobody that knows somebody here. This is weird. And it was literally just me and God. And I was like, okay, we're going to see what happens. And I was terrified because I had moved from Atlanta, which I was like building my little career, I thought, to this whole nother city. Didn't know a soul. Was working for like a crazy tyrant, according to what I read online. Mm-hmm. It ended up working out for me, but like I was scared and terrified the whole time.
Wow.
But you just got to do it anyway, because again, you always have to remember, I can always go back. Yes. Doesn't work, I can always go back. So just go ahead and go through it, because I don't want to be on my deathbed like, man, what if I moved to Dallas? What would that have been like? What if I took that job? I don't want to have those questions.
Yeah.
So just do it.
I agree. I feel the same way about life. Like, I think we take for granted how short it is, right? And how many, I'm not going to say good years, but like, you're youthful. If you're youthful and you're healthy and like you say, you can always go back.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Why not just jump, leap, take the leap?
We should.
There was something else you said too about how it took you 11 years to get to like this place, to arrive at this place that you've always dreamed that you would with your bi-coastal life. A lot of people, I think, struggle with the time, right? Yeah. Like they plant the seed or they do the thing or they put in the work and they have this expectation like, well, dang, I've been doing this for X amount of years and it ain't happened yet. So you know what? I'm just going to do this or I'm going to give up. What is it within you that kept you listening to that small voice inside of you despite the different challenges you faced for it not coming to fruition as quickly as you expected?
I never had a timeline.
Okay.
As far as like age.
Okay.
So, I would hear some people say, oh, I need to be married by 25, have kids by 30, or I want to do this by 30. And maybe that might be counterintuitive to some people, because I know some people are like, I have a 5-year goal and these things need to happen in 5 years. It wasn't like that for me. I just knew what needed to happen. I didn't know when. I just know I had to keep going. So when I was in LA, it was a really hard hustle because for those 7 years, I want to say the first 4 years, I had like 4 jobs. Trying to figure out, like, trying to make it happen, trying to make ends meet. It's a very expensive city. So, like, trying to make ends meet and trying to figure out, like, okay, what do I need to do next? Who do I need to meet? Where do I need to go? What things do I need to add to my resume to build my reel? Like, there was always a lot of things happening like that. But I remember just saying, like, okay, we'll keep going because you never know what's going to happen. And I remember, like, something that Tyler Perry said when he was going through his stuff. It was like 10 years he was putting on these plays and nobody was coming to them, right? Nobody's watching his plays. He just kept putting them on. If he had stopped, like that next day could have been the day that he popped. Like you don't know when it's going to happen for you. You just have to listen to the voice God put in your heart. And whatever you're like gifted at or whatever, like you just really love to do, like you have to follow that. That's your gift. So the money follows you. Like you can't follow the money. And I think that's what a lot of people do. They're so desperate to be rich. They just want money. And they forget that, look, God will take care of you. You put your work in and you go ahead and do what you're supposed to do. And what God put in your heart, the money will come. That's the nature. That's the law of nature. The money will come. But you have to be excellent at what you do and be focused at what it is that God gave you. Because if you're too busy comparing your walk to somebody else, then you're missing the unique journey that God has for you.
Come on.
So you just got to keep going and then it'll happen for you because, I remember there were times when there was people that I felt was less talented than me and they were getting all these jobs. And I'm sitting here like, yo, I hustle harder than them. I know God gave me more talent than them. Why I'm sitting here making shakes and they're going to do a red carpet for free, and they're going to do a show that I host, I book the talent, I do the camera, I do everything for the show. I do all this stuff. And this person here, why they get it?
Right.
Why they get this network show? Like, what's going on, God?
Right.
You know everybody. Why you ain't networked them with me? Because you networked them with that. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
And it's because it's not your time. And you have to remember that if you're doing all the things to be excellent, it's just not your time. And your time will come. My time eventually came. I took those 4. I was able to get a job doing what I love. I worked at All Deaf, and I was able to make enough money where I didn't have to work those other jobs. And that was the first time I was like, oh my goodness, I'm in my career. I could do one job in my career and make ends meet. That was the first time that happened. And I was like, okay, it's my time now. All them years was prepping for this. Because remember I told you before in my story, I worked as a financial consultant, right? Years later, lo and behold, I work at All Deaf. I'm producing. I'm because I had produced shows before. They was like, can you produce? I was like, yes. That added more money to my plate because they were like, oh, you produce. And then I'm talent for that. I've been prepping for that. I'm good with that. And then on top of that, I knew how to make budgets because I did that as a financial planner before. So I was sitting here like, wait a minute. Like all of this came full circle. And now I'm the head of production of All Deaf because of that.
Come on. Y'all.
Because I understand numbers. I understand budget. I understand Excel. All of that. It all works out. I would have never guessed if my path would have gone like this. But listen to God and you just keep going. And that's what happens.
Yeah. Are y'all thinking that what Megan is dropping? Because I'm like so full right now. I'm so inspired. I could not talk about timing. I could not think of a better way to start 2024. Like this, you needed to be here on January 2nd, sis. All right. Nelson, will you throw that comment back up there real quick? Because I want to acknowledge our listeners. You see it, Nelson?
It's a delay.
Oh, it's a delay. That's right. I forgot there's a delay on the screen. We're gonna go to a quick. Oh, there we go. Deshaun Gasson, thank you so much for listening today. It's an amazing show, great gems and knowledge being dropped. Absolutely, I could not agree more. Y'all, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back with more from Megan Thomas Williams, manifesting like she wants, and just preaching God's good glory on this beautiful Tuesday. Amen. Y'all stay locked in. This is She Was Radio Show 101 TKO Radio.
Yeah.
Hey sis, hey, hey sis, hey. You are tuned into the She Wins Radio Show on 101 TKO Radio. And this is Coach Andromeda back with you live with Megan Thomas Williams.
Hi.
Listen, Megan has been dropping so many gems for the last several minutes. One thing that I'm definitely picking up from her is do not limit your vision or your life or your goals. Matter of fact, don't limit anything to your current circumstances. Do not limit anything to the how or the when. Just know that all things are possible with God. Some of us are looking at our current circumstances and we're telling ourselves, it's just not realistic for me to be married. It's not realistic for me to get a house. It's not realistic for me to get that career. Guess what? Stay open, stay ready, stay available for the blessings that God has for you because, like she said, anything could happen and you might be getting ready to give up, but your breakthrough is right around the corner. It's right there. So you got to keep going and you cannot stop believing or dreaming or moving towards your goals and visions just because it looks like it's not going to work out because all things are working out for your highest good.
There you go.
Yes. I love how she shared, and I think you shared this while we were still on the radio. Yes, you did. You shared that like all of the things that happened to you previously, all of the delays you experienced, all the careers that you had prior to you getting to where you are, they all were part of the process. They all happened for a reason.
Absolutely.
So it's like, again, we just have to be able to stay open. I think that's what I'm going to leave this show with just stay open to how God is going to do it. Don't try to overthink it or think that just because it looks like this, or matter of fact, sometimes we talk ourselves out of things because we want it to look a certain kind of way, right?
Yeah.
Which brings me into, we talked about just like your love story, you and your husband's love story, which I do not think is a traditional love story. And I know we hear so much on social media these days about how relationships are supposed to look and and how it's supposed to go and how long you should wait and all of these different things. And so I just would love for you to share your love story with us.
Yes. Hi, shout out to my boo. Hey Marlon. He's watching right now. So my husband and I actually have been married for only 7 months, but we've been together for 6 years, 6.5 years now at this point. And we have 2 kids, and it definitely wasn't the story. Like, it wasn't something I could have like put together in my head, because when I met him, I was like, seriously, I had reached a point in my life where I was like, I love where my career is going. Like, I'm doing great. Mm-hmm. And I really, if God adds somebody cool, if he doesn't, whatever, like, I'm doing great. And so I actually was in Miami. I lived in Los Angeles, but I was in Miami for work. I was doing a red carpet for the American Black Film Festival. Mm-hmm. And I remember being out with my homegirl. We went to a bar, and then this guy was like, hey, can I buy you a drink? And I was like, can you buy me and my friends a drink? Because like, I was going to get their drinks. He was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. But we started talking. I gave him, we were talking. And I was like, he's in my head, I'm not looking for anyone, and this is Miami. Like, why would I even try to date someone in Miami? I live in Los Angeles. Like, that's a 6-hour flight. Like, there's no way. So in my head, I'm really just enjoying my life, my career, my blessings. I did not expect to meet anybody at all. And so I gave him my number. We ended up going on a breakfast date. I was just going to leave the breakfast date like, all right, cool. And to be honest with you, I actually turned him down a couple times. He asked me like through text, like, hey, do you want to go to lunch or dinner? And I was like, no, I'm good. He asked me like twice, and the third time I was like, okay, fine, breakfast. We do breakfast before I leave. Okay. But I was going to eat my breakfast and just be out, right? Like, I was like, I ain't going to see this dude again. But at breakfast, we were talking, and then like he said something about Tupac, and I was like, hey, Tupac's my favorite person, my favorite rapper. Like, what? And it was just a couple other things that it was just like, okay, he's interesting. I'm gonna Google him and see what I can find out about him. And I told him that too. And so I ended up Googling him. We ended up talking. And long story short, like a month later, he was in LA, and we were like, he came to visit me literally every month.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we ended up having a baby. And then it was like, okay, we're still bi-coastal at this point. My husband kept coming at the time he was my fiance, but he kept coming to LA every month and staying for like 2-3 weeks, and then going back to Miami because he had a business there, and he would just do that. And then after we had the baby, it was kind of like, okay, what are we gonna do? Because like we live in two different states. We live in two different coasts.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 hours apart. What are we gonna do? So we decided to move to Atlanta because like I said, I wanted to move back here with the family. I felt like the time was right. And my husband he's an entrepreneur and he works in the tech world. So it was like, he can just internet anywhere, you can work wherever, right? So we decided that Atlanta was a really good place for us, and we moved here. And in the midst of that, we had our second child, and we were just like, there were between that moving to the two different coasts, getting to know each other, because that's different when you're living in the same city as opposed to two different coasts. So now we both moved to the same city together. That was like a whole, I getting to know each other. That was really tough. And then two becoming one, like that was a whole process. And then on top of that, we had kids already. So you add that additional stress of young children. There was a lot for us to learn about each other, but with the grace of God and us going to couples therapy, which I recommend everybody do, we got through it. And we got married in June of this last year. So we're 7 months in.
Still newlyweds. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Megan, I love it. So first of all, shout out to hubby for the consistency, right?
Yeah.
The girls love consistency, like him making the choice that, like, I like this girl, and I'm going to show her that I care about her by traveling to see her once a month. Like, that's a big deal.
Every single month, this man came to see me. Yes.
That is dope. Shout out to hubby. The other thing is, well, I have a couple questions. One is, well, no, it's not a question. It's a shout out. It's a shout out to you for, again, being open. I know that a lot of people would look at that package, how that was packaged, right? Like, he's across the world, might as well be. You know what I mean? He's across the world. He's living a completely different life, and you still remain open to the fact that this could be your guy. Like, you didn't shut it down. Well, I mean, you tried.
But that also goes to show, because I think a lot of times is when we're like, I truly believe it happens when you don't expect it.
I agree.
But as women, especially as you get older, because at this point, I think I was like, how old was I? 33 at the time. So, coming from Kentucky, all my friends already was married with kids or one of the two, right? And I was just like, okay, I'm 33. All right, like, I'm getting ready to be geriatric age for pregnancy because that's 35. So I was like, oh, I ain't got no man. I got nothing. Like, this is. So in my head, sometimes you feel that pressure as a woman, like, okay, I have to hurry up and find somebody, or I have to hurry up and get married. I have to hurry up and have kids because my clock is ticking. But when you really are just like, you know what, if it happens, it happens. If God knows the desires of my heart. He knows that I want to be married with children. I'm gonna just let him do his thing. And then it worked out. It worked out very well, because now look, I honestly wasn't trying to find anybody.
Yes.
Like I said, I turned that man down.
Yes. I think that most of me and my married friends agree that our husbands found us when we were not looking for them.
That's what happens.
All.
Yeah. and you can't be fake about it. And if you're being fake, because there's plenty of times I'm like, I'm not looking for anybody. And then some man hit my phone and be like, hey, what's up?
Right.
You know when you're not looking for anybody.
Yeah.
And when you are.
You know what, though? When you think about it, when you're not looking for anybody, that means that you're putting more energy into yourself, more energy into improving yourself, which I believe is the preparation that you need for a relationship. Like, sometimes you got to heal. Sometimes you got to get yourself together. Sometimes you got to make sure you're going to match the energy of the person that you want to come into your life. And so that time that you spend not looking is that time to get ready.
Yeah, and so I always, I have friends that are like, oh, I'm ready now. I've done the work. And I'll just be like, if you say that, you're not ready. And I hate to say that, but if you can say that, like, I'm ready, I've done the work, you ain't ready, sis. Because the truth is, you're never ready, right? You just have to keep putting in the work. And if you feel like you've reached a certain point where you're like, now, bring my king to me, Lord. Someday, right? Because that means that you're anticipating and you're wanting that and you're waiting for that. And it's not that it's wrong. It's that you have to remember that at the end of the day, it is just you and God. Yeah. Even when you're married. And that's something that I had to learn this year. It's still just me and God. Even though I have a husband, even though we become one, it is still at the end of the day just me and God. And you cannot forget that. And if you don't have that embedded in you before you get married, you will lose that as soon as you get married. So you have to just be like, all right, guys, I feel like I'm ready, but obviously you ain't rocking nobody, so there's something else I still need to do. So show me what it is.
Yeah.
That's what you should be saying instead of being like, I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm there.
I agree. And if you really think about it too, like when you are focused on just being like present in your life and then just waking up every day and just deciding like I'm gonna show up to my life and give the best that I got, like and you're open to invitations and experiences, then that is where you ultimately things find you, right? It's not like you're looking for it. You just happen to be at a bar with your friends. And here goes this man that shows up. You know what I mean? Like if you were saying, oh my God, I need a man, or I'm waiting for this man, like you might not have taken that invitation because maybe you would have thought like, well, no, I need to be over here instead. Instead of just flowing through life and just trusting that what's for you is not going to miss you.
And I'll be honest, like he'll tell you this story. I was like real brash when I met him. I was like, oh, this man. I was like, oh, you ain't got no job? He was like, yes. He's like, I have my own company. And I was like, me too. My own company, my own LLC. Okay, I'm a brand too. He's like, that's like he didn't mean that, but I was like, I've seen this kind of guy before that has his own, he has his own brand, he's the CEO of his own business. We're all CEOs of our own business. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was real. How I came off to him was just really authentically myself because I wasn't worried about if he liked me or not. I did not care if this man liked me or not. Like this is just me, okay? Like, but that's if people was going to the club with their bonnets on, my bonnet would have been on my head. Like that's how myself I was when I met him, and that's how you have to be because I really, like I said, I wasn't worried about if he liked me or not. I wasn't in that space, but that's ultimately I think why God was like, okay, now you're ready.
Because you have to think about it, especially when we're talking about marriage, like this is a lifelong thing. So that person could meet you all done up, hair done up, you presenting this, persona, but ultimately in marriage, that's where they really get to see you. And it's like, then they be like, well, I didn't even know this version. I didn't know this person at all. But if you can come at it with, and like you said, authentically, and this is who I am, then we can go ahead and not waste each other's time because this is who I am. And actually, you don't like who I am. So you can go over there and I'll go there.
Right. And that's how it should be.
Why pretend just to get somebody to like you only for them to find out later on they don't really like you?
And that's the problem. People be doing that. You should, I had a conversation with my friends. It's like, I would never wear my bonnet in front of my man until we was together for at least a year. And I was like, that's stupid. And she said, why? I was like, because like I would rather this man know me from the very beginning than not. Okay? I might even poop in front of him from the very beginning. Okay, look. If you're gonna be out of here, but this is real.
This is real
life, okay? So what you want?
I'm with you 100%. I don't think that my husband, we've been together now 20 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But we got married 10 years after we were together. And so by that point, we pretty much had seen the good, the bad, the ugly, right? We had decided, like, okay, like I've seen your worst sides, and I still love you anyway. Like I can deal with this, right, for the rest of my life. Speaking of the time that it took you, because I think we have similar stories, even though it took me 10 years to get married. We did start at 17 and 18, so I'm gonna give us some grace for that. Oh, there's a comment. Mujeres arriba. Do you understand that?
Arriba is up.
Mujeres is
women up.
Oh, I love it. Gracias.
Hey, look
at we got some international listeners.
Yes.
I love it. All right, so I have a really good question for Megan when we come back. Y'all, but I have to take a quick break. So y'all stay locked in right here. This is She Wins Radio Show on the 101 TK Radio. Hey sis, hey, hey sis, hey, we are back. This is She Wins Radio Show on 101 TKO Radio. If you are just now tuning in with us, I want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up and happy new year. We are talking about manifesting the life you want. I have shared that going forward, this is a big talk Tuesday, okay? No small talk, big moves, big dreams. All right, so we've been talking to Megan Thomas Williams, and the question I wanted to ask you before we took our break was, I know you said that you and your husband got married very recently, like 7 months ago, you said?
Yeah.
You guys were together for 6 years before you got married, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember I had shared my story on social media, and I shared that, it took 5 years for my husband to propose to me, and then it took another 5 years for us to get married because we were together from 17 to 18. When he proposed at 5 years, we had been through some stuff, right? How life relationships can go. So I was just like, oh, well, let me think about it. You know what I mean? Yes, but let's take some time to do some work, right, before we actually go into marriage. Because for me, I didn't want to do marriage more than once. Yeah. So we ended up getting married 10 years into our relationship, and we have now been married for 10 years. Yeah. So apparently, I think that was a good decision. Yeah. However, I definitely had people saying, when y'all gonna get married? When y'all gonna get married? Now, for you all, y'all had the kids before the marriage even came. So I just want to know, for you, what did that look like? Did y'all have people in your ear when y'all gonna get married? When y'all gonna get married?
Yes, of course. And I'm a church kid too, so it was you got these kids. Why ain't y'all getting married? Everybody, I would hear it all the time. So, and plus we were engaged this whole time. We've been engaged a year in, so it was just when are y'all getting married? But to be honest with you, I wanted to make sure everything was right. And because we lived in two different places, it's harder to get to know somebody that way, on a day-to-day basis, right? Because when you come and see each other, you're on your best behavior. You're your best self. And so, but you're not always your best self in real life, right? So it's hard to get to know somebody on that level. So when we moved together, was it 2019? Then that was really us this is who you are and this is who I am. And it was a lot. I mean, we come from two different worlds. We're just two different people, two different worlds. It took a lot of work. And so to me, I was yo, we gotta figure this out before we can even talk about marriage, which is why, like I said, I'm a big advocate for couples counseling because you are two different people, right? Everybody is different. And so when you're trying to become one, especially us later, this is a late in life marriage for me, right? Most people get married early, late 20s, early 30s. Here I am, mid 30s. So it was, I am who I am, honey. You are who you are. We got to figure this out. How are we going to make this work? And so, people were saying it all the time. And I had to also, realize, I think there was a lot of, as a woman and as somebody who grew up in the church, there was a lot of shame for me at the beginning because here I am, not married, we have children. I'm in this relationship with this man. I know we're supposed to get married, but I want us to take the time. There's just issues we got to get through. And then here I am, here, church people you supposed to get married. But the truth is, at this point, we got to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
Okay, because we have kids already. We have a home to get. We have to make sure it's right. And so for me, even though some people might be oh, that's backwards, it worked just fine for me. And and I needed it to happen in this way because I feel if I had jumped into marriage too early, I probably would have already been divorced.
I agree 100%. I definitely have people looking at me crazy, and I definitely got the question a lot. We get married. And me and my husband, I've always been we're on our own time, and we just would cancel out the noise because we know what we're doing. But I agree with you. If we had got married, 5 years and 2 years in, we likely would not be together right now. So our love story worked out for us. It looks like yours is working out for you. Yeah. And I love to shout you out because there's so much pressure for women, especially. We hear so many rules about how relationships should go, or how much time we should give a man to propose to us, or how much, all of these different rules and steps that we need to take to make life look a certain kind of way. But what we have seen, if we're honest with ourselves, that people have done it in numerous of different ways. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And I just don't think that there's any cut and dry, black and white blueprint for how you should do life in marriage.
Yeah, exactly. But also here's the other thing, because I feel like I've had this conversation with some friends before, and they were like, but like, what if he hasn't proposed to you? Like, how long? I mean, should I just stay with him? And but I want to get married. And I'm like, but is it moving towards marriage? Like, I think that's the first thing. You got to be honest with yourself about what you want, right? And I wanted a marriage that like was gonna last, and I knew we had work to do. And so I wanted to be honest about that, and we did the work. And I think for some people, if it ain't right as a woman, and you just trying to make it fit, right? Because I'm getting older, I want to have kids. This is the closest prospect that I have for that. So maybe I should just like, he's not that bad. He's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like you keep trying to make it work, but you can't. What is the word? You can't fit a round peg into a square hole, right? So if it's not working, it's not working. Don't force it. I think in our situations, we were already engaged. It was a matter of like, do we want to get married now or not?
Right. Exactly.
And I think don't get that twisted. If it's like I'm not engaged and I want this man to marry me, like if he is not choosing to marry you, there's a reason why.
Right. I agree.
And I heard this saying, a lot of men want wives, but they don't want to be husbands. So if that man is trying to treat you like a wife but don't want to marry you, that means he don't want to be a husband. But you gotta go. That's a different situation than us. Because we had men that proposed to us, right?
Exactly.
We had men that shown that they wanted to be husbands, but like there was just some other things we had to work out.
Absolutely.
And so I think you gotta be very clear about that, because if this man ain't manning, if his husband ain't husbanding, if he ain't trying to be like that, then you just gotta be like, okay, well, we're not seeing eye to eye when it comes to the whole marriage aspect. Like, that's okay. And we can go our separate ways. No love lost.
Right. And I just think there's no shame in taking your time when it comes to marriage. But like I said, for me, I always looked at marriage as something that I wanted to be a lifetime. Like I didn't want to have to get divorced 10 years and try to start all over again. Like I wanted whoever I married, I wanted to be 100% sure about them, right? Like this is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. And I do think that again, like there's a lot of pressure on both sides, for men and women, to like, oh, hey, y'all been together for 2 years. Like people, like you said, have to get to know each other on different levels. Like, okay, you're dating, but then I don't think there's any shame in moving together before you get married either, because again, like that's a different level of the relationship. Like, are you going to be? You don't get to see his habits when you're not living together. You know what I mean? Like there's different levels of people. There's different, as you peel that onion back, like you get to know people more and more. And so I don't think there's any shame in taking your time to get to know a person. Like you said, as long as the relationship is progressing, as long as you can see like, okay, I'm getting to know you more and I like the person I'm getting to know. I don't think that anybody needs to be in a rush to the altar, because there's so many people who rush to the altar and then they get divorced. Like I have, a family member who, she is a hopeless romantic, and she's been proposed to and been married 3 times now. But she gets into these marriages very quickly and then finds out like this is not the person I thought they were. Yeah.
And being in the South, there's a lot of religious, hey, if we're gonna have sex and we need to get married. And while I understand that logic, I also feel like if that was the case, if you gonna be that pious, then you don't get divorced. You see what I'm saying? So you can't have it one way and not go the other way. Right? Like if it's stuff getting tough for you, you just gonna have to stick it out. That's the Christian thing to do, because you was trying to do the Christian thing to get married, right? So that's why I'm saying for people, if you're already having, I had a lot of shame with that, because obviously we had already had a child. Obviously we was already doing the deal. There was a lot of like societal pressure, I guess, to be like, you should get married because, you guys are going to live together and, do all this, like you just need to get married. In my head, I was trying to push that away, because I was just like, at this point, I don't want to mess things up more. And I feel like getting married too soon would mess it up more. And so like, and I remember I feel like I had a conversation with my parents one time, because they're just like super holy people. And they've never pressured, like they would be like, so when are you guys getting married? They would say stuff like that, but they never pressured me into like, you need to get married. They would just ask. And I remember being like, Well, at this point, mom and dad had already, had sex with the man. So the sins are there, okay? They already been there. So if y'all worried about that, I think I'm fine at this point. It's just the sin is there, okay? But like I'm getting to know him, so like, leave me alone about when are we getting married. We're gonna get married. I don't know when.
Right.
And they were like, okay, just wondering. They were just always like, okay.
Listen, I'm here for it because, like I said, so many people are trying to stay within whatever rules they feel like have been set for them, and then they realize that didn't actually even work out, and so now you're confused and trying to pick up the pieces of your life because you did life the way other people told you to instead of following your heart, your soul, your spirit, which you knew deep down inside was the right thing for you to do.
Yeah.
So again, kudos to you for listening to yourself once again. You listen to your inner voice when it came to your career. You listen to your inner voice when it came to your relationship. And like I said, it seems that that's working out. So
yes. Praise the Lord, thanks.
Yes. And so while we were on the break, also we talked about how your bi-coastal life is going and how you travel to LA once a month, and sometimes it looks like 24 hours overnight or 2 to 4 days.
Yeah. Those 24-hour trips, Lord.
Speaking of moms, also, there's a lot of ideas about what motherhood looks like. So how are you, blazing your own trail when it comes to motherhood in your career?
Just trying to, I think when I had my first child, I was always like trying to do everything right, correct. Like, I don't want to mess him up, and he's got to eat the best. He can't look at that. He can't, watch his iPad. He can't, This second child, she picks up off the floor and eat it. I'll be like, all right, God bless it, amen. I don't even. It is true. You learn what kind of parent you are after the second child, because the first one, like I said, you're just trying to do everything right. And now I feel like I give myself a lot of grace as a mother, because at first I used to be so hard on myself, and I actually went through postpartum depression because of it. But now I'm just like, hey, some days you just want to eat chicken nuggets and bread, and then other days you're eating vegetables. It's like it's a win. So you got to take the good with the bad, and then just take it day by day. Because some days it's going to be your children are angels and they'll do what you want, and then the next day you look like they got no home training. Okay, and you just got to go with the flow. So I think for that, I think one thing I'm going to tell moms is just like give yourself grace. Because you're doing the best you can. There's no guidebook for it. Every child's different. Even within a home, your children are different. So you have to understand, like, as long as you just love them as much as you possibly can, and you try to be a better person, spiritually, emotionally, physically, as long as you're working on all those things, then you are the best mom that you can be. Because that's, because even now there's like, things that have happened to all of us in our childhoods, whether it's from like our own mothered us, or just, growing up, like, did you have a father? Did you not have a father? Like, all of these things shape you into who you are. And so sometimes you react and you say certain things in a certain way as a result of what you've experienced. So it's up to you to go, okay, that wasn't right. So getting whooped all the time wasn't right. I'm going to try to do something different. But these kids testing me, so how do I react in a way that's more positive? Like, you have to teach yourself and go learn and study and read about how to change some of the triggers that you have as a parent, so that you are a better parent for your children than your parents were to you. And so as long as you're doing that, as long as you're trying and learning, and talking to God, like, show me why I need to be different, then you're a good parent. And you shouldn't beat yourself up about that.
Yeah, that's good. And also, I love that you give yourself grace by saying that, like, it's okay for you to have a career that you enjoy. That requires you to sometimes leave your home, leave your kids for a few days, so you can do things that you enjoy that make you money. You know what I mean? Like, I think that that's really, really cool for you as a mom, like, being able to ask for that help that you need, because you share with me that, like, your husband is a great help, but also that you will hire some help to come in to help you with your kids.
Because it takes a village. My parents live in a different state, but they come and help when they can. And then on top of that, like, it's important to find a nanny, find a babysitter, because we don't have as much family help in the city that as other people may have. So it's important that you do the work to try to ask other moms, ask other mom groups, who do y'all use? I've asked a lot of people, who do you use? What is there a nanny service? Is there a babysitting service? Is there a certain babysitter? Like, who do you use? I start there as a reference, and then I'll go through their actual like resume and do you do CPR, all this stuff, and have cameras. So I would say you can get you a cheap camera at Amazon and put it in the house and tell them I have cameras in my home. So when they watch on kids, they know I have to be on my best behavior with these kids. And then log on and look and see how they treat your kids. Because I mean, I know how hard it is to try to find help, and then it's hard to find really good help that's consistent. And so you just have to keep doing it. Like, it's an ongoing thing to always try to find good help, but you need it in order to be successful at the things that God has told you to do, whatever that looks like. Like, nobody was meant to raise their kids alone with no help.
That's right.
That's not realistic. Yeah. You need somebody. So whatever that help may be, whether it's family or whether it's a babysitter, whatever, like, do the work. Yeah. Make sure your kids are safe, because that's number one. But like, don't feel bad that you have work to do, because you were somebody before these kids. Come on. It doesn't mean you're not that person anymore. It just means you have additional things added to you. So you have to remember, like, I still have a career. God still has work for me to do. Yeah. And he gave me these kids, which means all of this is going to work out. Yeah. So, yeah, that's okay.
I love it. It's the faith for me. It's the doing the work for me. So good. I mean, what I hear, and I hope y'all hear too, is you can have it all. It may not come in the order that you think. It may not come in the package that you think. It may not come in the way that you think, but you can actually have it all. You can have your life. You can have your career. You can have love. You can have family. You can have it all. Yeah. And so when we come back from this next break, I'm going to ask Megan for some just specific tips for manifesting your life. Some practical things that you can start doing today to start making the life that you want your reality. You are tuned into 101 TKO Radio, and this is the She Wins Radio Show. Hey sis, hey, hey sis, hey. You are tuned into She Wins Radio Show on 101 TKO Radio. And this is Coach Andromeda. If you have been tuning in with us today, thank you so much for taking the time out to start the new year off right with a conversation that is inspiring and encouraging and empowering. I hope this conversation has ignited you and encouraged you to really step into this year with a bold mindset, with the belief that anything is possible for you, and just be open to all that God has for you. I'm here with Megan Thomas Williams.
Hi.
Megan has just been dropping so many gems about manifesting the life that you want. I've already shared the ones that I picked up as far as, again, just being open, being able to just trust that things are going to work out for you, being willing to do things or accept things even when it doesn't look the way that you thought it would.
Yeah.
So Megan, for somebody who's listening right now who wants to make 2024 like their best year ever, and they want to manifest the visions that God has given them, what are some practical things that they can start doing today to make that happen?
Well, first of all, declare that this is going to be your best year ever and believe that, because even when things happen to you, it's still okay, right? Like, saying that this is going to be the best year ever doesn't mean that nothing bad, quote unquote, is going to happen to you. It just means that you're going to overcome. If anything does happen to you, I'll be fine. So I think having the mindset first that, this is going to be my best year yet. I declare it now. It doesn't matter what happens to me. I'm going to overcome. That's number one. Number two, I think, is to be grateful for where you are and what is going on right now. Because sometimes we're like, okay, well, maybe my financial status isn't where I thought it was going to be or where I want it to be. But be thankful that it is where you got. Do you have a car? Do you have a home? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have clothes on your body? Like, start being thankful for the things that you do have, because that will help you through the times when it gets rough and it's hard to see the end, when it's hard to see the light at the tunnel. Then you got to go, okay, well, what do I have? What can I be grateful for in this moment? Because that helps you push through and get through that last rough stretch before you come to a breakthrough. So yeah, I would say probably those two things. And then, just don't beat yourself up. Just give yourself grace and love yourself, because it's not always easy, right? Like, you're doing the best you can as a person, and we're not perfect. So there's moments that we're gonna mess up, but still give yourself the grace, because God gives you grace, right? So you should give yourself grace too. Give others grace, because nobody's perfect, right? Now, but they abuse you, then you can walk away. But like outside of abuse,
right?
Like, give people grace, give yourself grace, and just keep it moving.
Yes, so good. Megan, I want to ask you too, because the top of the year, I think that a lot of people are more ignited to go after their dreams. A lot of times we're more optimistic, we're encouraged, we're motivated. We set our resolutions, right? We say our affirmations.
Yeah.
And then that bump in the road comes, like you said. It doesn't mean you can say it's going to be my best year ever. It does not mean it's not going to come with challenges. So what are some things people can do when they do run into those discouraging moments, those moments that like they were flying high, but now they feel like they crashing to the ground?
Crash. Be okay with the crash. And know that that's not the end. Because like I said, you're going to have those challenges. You're going to have things that happen. It's how you overcome it, right? Like, I think I heard some analogy that was like a coat, right? A coat, it still rains, it still snows. You might hail, but you got a coat on, right? That coat it doesn't change the circumstances around you, but it makes you feel different because now you're shielded. And so you have to remember that, like, okay, I have all these things that are still happening. In this analogy, the coat is your mindset. All these things are going to happen, good or bad. But your mindset is what's going to get you through. How much do you believe that you're going to be okay? How much do you believe, like, I got you? How much are you going to believe that this is part of your story and it's all going to work out? Like, that's what you have to, you got to shift your mindset. You shift your mindset, then it doesn't matter what gets thrown your way. It doesn't matter when the world comes crashing down. I'm still okay. It's not fun. It sucks, but I'm going to get through it.
Come on. It's not fun. It sucks, but I'm going to get through it. I was going to ask you, what do you say to yourself, or do you have any specific things that you do in those moments when life gets challenging?
I'd be like, God, this sucks. The acknowledgement, I think, because I feel like sometimes people don't acknowledge. No, it sucks. It's not fun. It's not a good. I don't feel good in this moment that this stuff is happening to me. I like to acknowledge that 1st. And I even, my conversations with God, just like that, I'd be like, yo, what is up? This is not what wasn't on my bingo card, Lord, right. Okay? Right. Didn't select this for me. Right. So what is going on? Right. And then I just try to be open and be like, all right, God, what do you, like, tell me, show me how this is going to help my life. Because at this point, I don't see it. Right. I don't like it. Right. So be with me and show me and help me get through this. And that's initially how it starts. And then over time, it's like, okay, all right, Lord, I'm not as angry as I was yesterday. Right. But this still sucks. Right. But help me get through this. I know you got me. You didn't bring me this far to leave me. And so it's those kind of conversations that I continue to have with God. And then, after a while, it's a little more positive, right? But it's still like, I trust that God got me. So I don't know what people do that don't have faith. I'll be honest. I don't know how tough stuff if you don't trust that God's going to get you through it. But I believe the guy got me, and so far, he has not let me down. Come on. Yeah. Shout out to God. Shout out to God. I love it. I just love it. Like, we got to just keep going and know that these moments that are uncomfortable or that moments that suck, like, they're temporary. They're just temporary. And as you said, they're part of your story. You need that. You said earlier, if it didn't get uncomfortable, you wouldn't move. Exactly. So you need it to move where God needs you to be. Yeah. And I shared, part of my testimony of me even being here in Atlanta is that July of 2023 was a very uncomfortable month that ultimately shifted everything and moved me to where I am today. And had that not happened, I would not be sitting here talking to you right now and having my own radio show. So it's all truly part of the story. Look at God. Won't he do it? Megan, do you have a theme, affirmation, or word for this year? I think it's like one I generally have like in my whole life, always, and it is, I am enough. Because there's so many times when I felt like I wasn't, like when I would go audition as an actress, and I'd walk into a room and there'd be like 50 other girls in there that either looked like me or were way more prettier than me. Mm-hmm. I would just be like, oh my gosh, why am I even here? Mm-hmm. But I have to remember that I am unique. Everybody is unique. Everybody's story is different. Everybody brings something else to the table. It doesn't matter if we're all reading the same lines. Everybody gonna bring something different to it. So I have to trust that my uniqueness is enough. I am enough. And the things that are meant for me, I will get. If it's not for me, then I won't get it. And that's okay. And so I think I have to remind myself for that, even now, like I've had kids, so my body isn't the way I want it to be. I have to remember that I'm still enough now. I can do a little more physical activity, right? But I'm still enough. On the inside, I'm still enough. I'm still good enough. There's nothing that I'm lacking. So I need to remember that. Times when it gets challenging as a mother, I have to remember, like, you're enough. Or else God would have gave these kids to somebody else. Yeah. So you're enough. He thought you were enough. Yeah. And he knows what's up. So he gave you kids. You good. Even my career, when I feel like maybe it's at a stalemate or the work gets tough. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm enough. I can do this. Mm-hmm. I can get through this. Yeah. So yeah, I'm enough.
That's good, y'all. Write that down. Let it sizzle in your spirit.
Yes.
When you wake up in the morning, or you go to sleep at night, when you're having the people getting on your nerves, your job, your work is hard, when you receive a rejection, when you experience a failure, I am enough. Yes. You know what? That sentence is so powerful in so many ways. I feel like it's that sentence, when you really allow yourself to believe it, it will help you to not only keep going, it will help you to start. Yeah. Because so many people don't even start. Yeah. Because they don't feel like they're not enough.
Yeah. They're like, I don't have the resources, or I don't know how to do that, or whatever. Just start. You're enough. You'll figure it out on the way.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. This has been so good, y'all. I do really hope that you are inspired and encouraged and empowered by this conversation. I also hope that you will share this broadcast with somebody else who needs to hear it this year. Help another woman or man. Shoot, I think that a lot of the gems that were dropped can help anybody, honestly. Start their year off right. Okay, so if you are tuning in live on 101tkoradio.com or on the app, you can actually find the recording of this broadcast on the 101 TKO Radio YouTube page, and you can share the recording from there. Okay, we want everybody to be in position to win this year. We want everybody to feel uplifted and encouraged and empowered to manifest their best lives. Also, y'all make sure that you tune in to She Wins Radio Show every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and bring a friend next time. Okay, make sure that you bring a friend next time. Also, make sure that you visit SheWinSociety.com and find out about everything that we have coming up. Me and Megan were just talking about upcoming events and retreats that are in my vision.
I'm excited
right now. That I guess she's gonna hold me accountable for manifesting now because I said it.
I'll be like, when is this happening, girl? I'm trying to come. When is happening?
Right. And do not be surprised if you hear and see Megan on another She Wins Society platform because sis is a powerful thing, y'all. I'm so inspired by everything that she shared today. Megan, before we get out of here, please do tell the people how they can connect with you.
Yes, you can find me at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream, everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm on all those. I'm on TikTok, but I be like hiding, looking at people's stuff. You don't know it's me though. So but you can hit me up at Meg Scoop. Also check out my podcast. The first one, the biggest one right now is Imani's State of Mind. You can get that anywhere you get podcasts. That's with me and Dr. Imani Walker. She's a psychiatrist. She's amazing. She's beautiful, 6-foot ball hit, chocolate, boom. Okay, she's on Married to Medicine LA. If you watch the first season, but she's an awesome psychiatrist, and I just love her. And just the stuff that we talk about is so much fun. So check out Imani's State of Mind. It comes out every Friday. And then also Squadcast on All Deaf. Go on All Deaf's YouTube channel. You can see that. It comes out every Monday. And then Mommy Needs a Break has a lot of archived videos. If you want to go on Mommy Needs a Break on podcast, Mommy Needs a Break on YouTube. You can check out that video podcast as well. We were on hiatus, but we're coming back in a few months. So check that out soon.
They're coming back. We're going to hold them accountable for that too, y'all, right?
Don't you worry, girl. It's happening, okay? The mommies took a break and we back.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us again today, Megan. It's been such a pleasure listening to you and all that you had to share. Y'all, listen, 2024 is our year. Claim it, speak it, believe it, walk in it. And if you need some inspiration and motivation to do that, at any time, go back and listen to this recording because I'm quite sure it is going to bless your soul, y'all. Until next Tuesday, y'all keep growing, keep glowing, and keep winning. This is Coach Andromeda on She Wins Radio Show, and I will see y'all next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Bye.